Comics Covered, The Final Frontier. These are the diaries and voyages of the April 4th episode of 21. ... Thank you. I've never watched... Actually, that's a lie. I've watched a full episode of Star Trek. I have, but I don't have that memorized whatsoever, so I'm sorry for anybody...
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen a full episode of the original series.
Seriously?
I've seen
the pilot's great.
Yeah, it's always been on my list. I'm going to watch them at some point, but it's something I've never really gotten around to. I've watched random spotty episodes of Next Gen.
Okay.
Because that was on in my household a fair amount when I was growing up. But yeah, I've never sat down and watched really much of the original series.
Okay. Was your dad a Trekkie?
My dad likes Star Trek, surprisingly. He doesn't really like sci-fi
really
at
weird,
all.
yeah. He
for some reason, loves Star Trek. Like, he super likes the new movies. Huh. And when the first one came out, he was, like, so jazzed because he was like, oh, I love Star Trek. He just really likes the characters. He thinks they're really funny.
So bizarre.
It is super bizarre because he hates everything sci-fi. Like, he can't really... Like, he thinks Star Wars is fun, but, like, you try to get him to watch anything with, like, any kind of more sci-fi ideas in it, and he turns his brain off and doesn't care. He likes Westerns.
I miss your dad, though. Seriously. But in any case, we're here. We're doing the episode, Doug. We should get him on the guest star.
Is this the episode?
This is the episode.
This is the episode right now.
Are you ready? Yes. What?
Yeah, right now? It's happening?
Yes, we're doing it. Are you ready for this, Doug? Here, a lot of people, this is a milestone in human years. So we are actually on episode 21. That's why I have my whiskey right here, and I'm ready to do butt shots.
Oh, wow. Take the microphone and just pour the whiskey directly into it, because this podcast is ready to drink.
Nice. I'll buy you a drink. See, it's stuck in my head still. Still stuck in my head.
I don't know why mine was so high-pitched.
Because you have that high of a voice. In any case, it's April 4. It is actually April 5 right now. We are broadcasting in future vision. And, yeah, because Doug's going to Chicago this week. But in any case, here in Comics Covered, we're still going to talk about the comic books and that world around them. The comics industry, the comics movies, the TV, the games. Actually, on that point, we actually do have games talk today. And, the reason why Doug is going to Chicago, not the reason why, but while he's in Chicago, he's going to be doing something having to do with comic booky games. We'll tell you about it later. There's my tease. Do you like my tease, Doug?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Very tantalizing.
Tantalizing. I love that word. In any case, we're going to talk spoilers on some things, and we'll probably swear. Have we? I think we have already. In any case, we'll warn you about those spoilers, though. I'm Jack. I'm a baby boy when it comes to comics. I'm a very small baby.
Oh, you're just a little baby boy.
Everyone just turned off the podcast.
Yes. But I am here with my surrogate father, Doug, who knows something I don't know.
Yep, I'm a stern father, and I'd like you to do your chores, and also I'd like you to memorize who this new character is.
Okay.
A new character for the week. I know a character you might not know. I'm Doug, by the way.
Yeah, you kind of went backwards on that, didn't you?
I'm Doug. My name is Karnak, and the character I'd like you to guess is Doug. My name
Doug's
is Doug.
a ginger from Minnesota who has a lot of social anxiety.
And my social security number is as follows.
Oh, come on.
We should start a tally how many times I've made that social security number joke every time.
Twice. This is the second time.
You've started to say too much about us. I'm a secret man of mystery.
Dear.
But I know a character you might not know. We'll find out. You might know.
Okay.
This character is Karnak.
Karnak. I'm gonna assume it has nothing to do with a car because it's not spelled that way. Karnak. Okay. I don't think this is going to be this doesn't seem like a very, out there person. I feel like this character is not that out there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's your guess? Okay.
No.
Continue.
Here we go.
Continue.
Marvel.
You are correct. It is a Marvel character. Can you guess what he belongs to a specific kind of corner of the Marvel Universe. Can you guess what kind of group or corner of the Marvel Universe he exists in?
Well, he's cosmic, definitely.
Okay. You want me to tell you, or you want to wait till the end?
Wait till the end.
Okay, so who do you think Karnak is in general, then?
I think Karnak is a... God damn it. Now your answer, I don't think is cosmic anymore. I think he's cosmic. Fuck you. I think he tussles. I think he's like a pirate kind of Ravager person. Like,
Okay.
he is around Guardians of the Galaxy a bit. And, he just is some beastie looking dude. And he, is a monstrous kind of buff looking alien guy. And he goes around and, steals shit and, hijacks, not police stations. He hijacks, ships and such.
Okay, you got there.
That's it.
Okay, so he's like a space pirate.
Space pirate,
kind of your guess.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
Sure, I could see that from the name. Sure. Karnak is in fact an Inhuman.
Okay, so he is cosmic.
Yeah, sort of, yeah, like related to space characters in that, like, the Inhumans are related to space characters. Yeah,
good.
Sure, fair. Karnak is a member of the Royal Inhuman family. He is, I believe, he's not Black Bolt's brother, I guess, but he's kind of a brother-esque figure. He's apparently his cousin. But Karnak is kind of a sort of, what is a word for it? He's like a wise kind of advisor to the king. He's not an elder. He's I don't know, an adult character. He's not necessarily old, but he is an Inhuman who rejected the process which brings out an Inhuman's inherent abilities.
Pterogenesis, motherfucker.
I was about to say that. I like that you know that term. But for anyone who doesn't know who the Inhumans are, they are a member of... They're kind of like them. They're similar to the mutants at Marvel in that they are a kind of specific race of people in the Marvel Universe who have inherent latent powers that come out at a certain point. In the case of the Inhumans, they go through a process called pterogenesis that brings out their powers, but they're kind of a kingdom that lives separate from humanity, and yeah, they have ties to space and stuff. Karnak is a character who rejected pterogenesis, or his parents didn't put him through it, or something like that. For some reason, as a child, he was denied or rejected pterogenesis, so he never developed his inherent inhuman powers, but to make up for it, he trained his mind to spot the flaw in all things.
What does that mean?
So, it means a number of things, all of which are very fun. So, he can literally spot structural weaknesses in things. So he can look at a building and go, if I touch this brick, the entire building will collapse, or something like that. And
it does? Like, he succeeds?
I mean, depending on who's writing it, like, it can be super effective, or it can, or be a small, more subtle power. But, yeah, in the more recent Warren Ellis series, which has kind of been seemingly the model for him going forward, he's kind of a meditative ninja who fights by spotting the weaknesses in people.
Sherlock Holmes.
Like in those movies. It's like that. He's very he's analyzing people's movements, but then, and this is the best part, you know what I just said about how he could touch a brick and topple a building?
Yeah.
So he does that in kung fu fights, where he'll karate chop someone or poke them or something.
And they'll explode.
Well, he spots something, and they did in a cool, like, dynamic panel where he'll, like, see something on someone, and then he'll, like, karate chop them in like, their shoulder, and then, like, their knee will explode.
Oh my god. Dear Lord, that's great, though.
It's so stupid, but it's so good. It's like, it's this great mix of, like, clever, but also super dumb, and I love it. I love it so much.
So he's in Warren Ellis's writing an Inhumans series right now, and he's in it?
No, Warren Ellis wrote a specifically Karnak miniseries about, this was in the last couple of years anyways. It took a really long time to come out. It suffered from some massive delays. But it was a great series. I would highly recommend it.
That sounds awesome.
Well,
go ahead.
I was going to say also one of the few appearances of the comic version of Agent Coulson that I think actually works. But
oh.
Yeah.
Huh. Wow, Karnak is okay. And so is he a good guy? Like, is he not a good guy? What's up? Does he tussle with the Inhumans because he doesn't like Terrigenesis and they keep doing it, or what?
He's kind of an anti-hero. He's a good guy. Like, he's not like a villainous hero, but he's kind of, at least in the Warren Ellis version, well, I mean, he's always been kind of like a standoffish kind of antisocial character, a little to a certain extent. Warren Ellis pushed that to like its extreme, where he was like this like super materialist thinking character in that like literal, or like even kind of nihilist a little bit, in that like literally nothing matters, and it's all about just kind of manipulating things in your favor. But he's on the side of like doing the right thing and like solving problems for people.
Okay, so he doesn't ever for example, I guess spoilers for Black Bolt, that series, just really quickly. Like, I guess Black Bolt recently in a big event, like, had a Terrigenesis bomb go off somewhere. Like, if that happens, is Karnak, like, really against it? Is he against the whole process, or was he just against, like, going under Terrigenesis at some point?
I feel like that was something that was addressed in Warren Ellis's run, and I can't recall. I don't know. I don't think that he's, like, against people having inhuman powers. I think it was, like, a choice his parents made.
Okay.
I don't remember. But anyways.
Okay. Wow. Okay, I like that. That's really cool. Interesting.
Yeah.
Huh. Karnak. Okay, I might pick that up. I haven't read anything by Warren Ellis yet. I still have that Moon Knight trade on my poll.
Oh, you have that?
So they're theoretically ordering it.
You should read that.
What?
You should read that.
I know. I really want to.
But also, at some point, if you haven't read a Warren Ellis thing, you need to read Authority. Because Authority. The Authority is one of my favorite comics.
That's the Wildstorm thing, right?
Yep.
Okay, I saw a thing that was like had the big Wildstorm logo this week in my comic shop. So they literally just keep that completely separate.
Sort of. It's they recently, in the last like year or two here, they relaunched the Wildstorm universe, quote unquote. Those characters had previously in the New 52 all just been absorbed into the DCU. And so then they went to Warren Ellis and they said, can you restart the Wildstorm line again? So he got an imprint. Speaking of all of them, everyone getting an imprint at DC these days. Yeah. And it's like they never address it. It's very clearly like the status quo of stuff is not what's going on in the normal DCU, but they never address it. So it, I guess, is its own universe. But yeah, it's in the DC multiverse though, because they've had at least one spin-off book now, and they were doing like kind of alternate universe versions of Justice League characters in that one, I know. So yeah, so it's somewhat tied, but in a different universe.
Okay, good to know. Well, Doug, how's your week? What's up?
It was good. Yeah.
It hasn't been that long since we recorded last, but what's up?
Trying to think what I did this week. I wanted to see Isle of Dogs, but it got real snowy here in Minnesota, and I was not able to get out to my indie theater, so I ended up going to yes, that would have been the Uptown. So I ended up seeing a movie, what I could see at the AMC near me, which is a lot closer. And so I ended up seeing Ready Player One, which was a fun movie. It's, you know, it was fine.
Okay.
I enjoyed it. Like, I had a good time watching that movie. I don't know that I have anything like glowing to say about it or anything, but like, I had a fun time watching it. It is a good popcorn flick.
How's Kid Cyclops?
Oh God, I forgot that was him.
Yeah, he's in Dark Phoenix too. He was trash talking Marvel films as well in an interview. It was kind of funny.
Why do people got to do that? You're not.
Focus on your own work, right?
Yeah, don't trash talk other people. Also, your last movie was terrible.
Yeah.
So
the first one that he was in fact, like, dear Lord.
God. Anyway, also, I'm gonna be going. You mentioned I was gonna be going to Chicago. I'm gonna be down there for C2E2, so I'm pretty excited. That's why we're recording early this week. But
C2E2, that was the robot before C3PO, right?
It's like that. C2E2 is C3PO and R2D2's son.
Hey,
C2E2.
I guess that would be that would be it, wouldn't it be? Because E is kind of like a 3. It kind of sounds like that. 3 has 2 E's in it, yeah?
It's got 2 2's.
Well,
it's got a 2 2.
Doug.
Where's a 2? The character wears a 2 2. Jack, how was your week?
My week was good. I finally got Movie Pass. Yeah. So I'm excited. I'm really excited to see some bad movies. Like, I just saw a trailer for this movie called Upgrade. Have you ever heard of this?
What? What's that?
It's called Upgrade, and it's about a guy who is, like, normal, I guess, and then he has some accident or something. It's basically like RoboCop, but he's still, like, human looking. And it's
so
really
he gets, like,
funny.
Robot stuff in him?
No, he just gets, like, enhanced abilities and shit, and he's upgraded, quote unquote. It looks really, really bad, and I really want to see it because it looks hysterical. But I'm excited to watch movies like that. I'm pumped, and also I'm excited because tomorrow. I told you I was going to maybe see Ready Player One, but I think I'm going to see Quiet Place tomorrow, which I'm really
I keep forgetting for. I think that's coming to our indie theater in the next week. I'm very excited for that as well, and you see that and Isle of Dogs.
Great. Just so everyone knows, that's John Krasinski directing debut with Emily Blunt, his wife.
Emily Blunt is John Krasinski's wife?
Yeah. Isn't that crazy? They're married.
That's a weird... I mean,
they have a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old.
I can see it. Yeah. I'm going to give me more celebrity couples so I can tell them if they should or shouldn't be together, because I feel like I have a knack for this now.
Oh, did you know Tilda Swinton and Hugh Jackman?
That's not real.
That's not real. No, not at all.
Did you know
I got Movie Pass.
Do you watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
No, that's Andy Samberg, right?
Yeah. Oh, that show is surprisingly great. So you don't know who...
Really?
You don't know who... Oh, and I've forgotten her name already. Never mind. We're going to move on.
So you don't know who that is either.
There's a character on the show who is... The actress is married to... Keegan-Michael Key? Jordan Peele? Oh, shit. Which one made...
You're an asshole.
Which one made...
Get Out is Jordan Peele.
She's married to Jordan Peele and they have a kid. And it always is surprising to
Jeez, you're an asshole.
I like Key and Peele. I like them both. And I get their names confused because I don't know. I associate them as like a pair because they do that show. Okay. Anyway.
Did you see Keanu?
I did. That movie's fun.
It's fun. I wasn't expecting anything, honestly.
It's a very dumb movie.
It's dumb, but it's fun. In any case, I'm excited to have Movie Pass, and it's great. And I'm so happy that AMC is now all on board because it finally, like, the one near me that I like going to is on there.
Oh, sure.
Yep. But in any case, yeah, that was it. And we're gonna jump right into some spoiler talk, Doug, because this week was a momentous occasion, and Legion, the show on Netflix, on FX, finally returned after, I think it ended in April last year, I believe. Yeah. And so, now it's back. And, it was, okay, so spoilers for that season 2, episode 1 of Legion.
And also the first
If you have not watched it, And also the first, okay, yes, by proxy. I was just thinking actually when we were watching it, like, what if someone just like, oh, I'll just go check out Legion. I'll just check it out, see what's going on.
What the fuck is happening in this show?
Seriously. Oh my God. But it's so good.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Did we talk about you having watched the first season recently? I feel like we must have, but I don't remember.
I think it was like a week thing. Like, what did I do this week? I basically watched all of Legion.
Anyway, yeah.
But yeah, oh God, it was so nice to binge it too, because I feel I hate waiting, and I'm so happy it's here. And they really didn't miss a beat at all.
Oh no.
Like, it's just, oh God, were you confused about anything? Cause you didn't get to rewatch it at all.
Were some, I didn't have time to rewatch it, or I waited too long and didn't have time to rewatch it because I was intending to, but, or like watch a recap or anything. But, there were a few things that I like had to kind of like readjust myself to because I forgot they happened. Like I forgot that they came to be on a team with Kane and burned guy.
Division 3.
That guy, the guy with the cane.
Who's the guy with the cane? The guy with the cane is the bird guy.
The burned guy with the cane.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So Division 3, they explained this in the show. Division 3 is like the people who are concerned with, getting these people and what. Okay. Yeah. So at the end of the show, they were like in cahoots kind of because they were united against the common villain, the Shadow King. Mm-hmm. Yes. I keep getting the Shadow King and the Midnight King mixed up because we've been reading Black Bolt, and I had no idea that the Midnight King referred to Black Bolt. So I kept referring to Farouk as the Midnight King, and that's about it. But so they're with Division 3 now, and I guess it's been a year that they've been working with them trying to find Farouk. My guess is Division 3 is working with them both so that they can, find Farouk and use them to get to him, and also, keep tabs on them as well, because that's their main purpose. And, but I'm just, who the fuck is this guy, basket head guy?
I know! Like, if you thought the show couldn't get any weirder, that fucking...
With his mustache?
That fucking, okay, I'm gonna get through this, and then I'm gonna, just in case anyone for some reason doesn't care and is just listening to this despite not having watched the show before. I'll explain what the show is in a second. But just as a little teaser here, if you haven't watched, there is a character on this new season that is General Fukuyama, I think is his name. Yeah. And he is a man in a kimono who has a large weaved wicker basket on his head. And that's just how he looks. And he speaks.
Yes, go ahead.
He doesn't talk. He speaks through. He has 3 women in weird spandex jumpsuits with bowl cuts and mustaches who have robot voices, and he speaks through them. This show is fucking bonkers, and they're blowing it out even further in this season now that they've kind of established some stuff for us to grasp onto, and they're just making it even weirder, and I love it. I love it so much.
It's so good because it's not nonsensical at all. It's just like it's wonderfully written, and it's just so the beats that they're gonna have, like the comedic beats that they use, even in this first episode with those mustache ladies, like the pauses when David like asks them, just like, well, like it's so fucking funny, and oh god. Yeah. Okay, so what's your best way to explain this to a new viewer?
Yeah, so just in case anybody just like isn't interested in Legion or is like curious enough to like see, let's see what this is about. So Legion is basically we started off the show with a character who is the setup is that he's mentally unstable. He's in an institution, and everyone thinks he's unstable. Turns out he has powerful psychic abilities for mysterious reasons that they elaborate on in the show. But it kind of starts out super, super trippy as he's kind of in his head a lot. And then over the course of the show, we figure out exactly why he's kind of disturbed, because he has these this evil persona in his head named the Shadow King, and now we're in the second season. Oh, this show is in the X-Men universe. You mentioned that.
Yeah.
It's kind of sort of in the X-Men universe. It's not strictly speaking necessarily in the same universe as like the movies. They don't really like make it clear, but theoretically he exists in a world where like Professor Xavier and other mutant characters exist. And so mutants are feared and they're different and you gotta regulate and control them and whatever. Anyway, so they're in this new season, they're working for an organization which, well, like we said, was previously hunting mutants, and now they're working together to hunt dangerous mutants, like another powerful psychic called the Shadow King. And so that's kind of the thrust of this new season, and it is one of the most surreal, inventive, creepy, funny sci-fi shows like ever. It's so much fun because you just can't tie it down. And it's really, really creative. They had a psychic battle in this episode in the main character's head, which was shown as a nightclub, and they had a fucking dance-off. That was the psychic battle. The main character and two other characters, one of which was what's his face from the Jermaine Clement from Flight of the Conchords, and Aubrey Plaza from Parks and Rec and other stuff. And the three of them plus their entourages had an incredible, ridiculously choreographed dance psychic battle, and this show is bonkers. I love it.
It's so good. It's so, because it just teeters on that like place of, okay, we're gonna make it really, really weird, but it's still grounded in a plot that you can understand. That's really, really well done and really deep. And
that was one of the most satisfying things about the first season, is because it starts super, super, super trippy to the point where you're like, I am having a little bit of a hard time grasping what's happening. And for anybody who's first getting into the show, it's a little bit of a hump to get over. It's a fascinating bit. But you have to kind of power through a little bit, just because one of the most satisfying things in the first season is slowly coming to understand exactly what's happening. And then once they ground you, they leave you there, but they leave the weirdness in there. Yeah. And so you get both of those worlds, and it's really great.
I think one of the things you also have to do, I think if you haven't watched the show, I think you really need to watch the first two episodes together. Because the first episode is very different than the rest of the show, I think. Because the first episode is, honestly, it's not that weird. It's mostly, okay, we accept that he's in the asylum, we accept that he's crazy or whatever, and then at the very end, it's like, oh, okay. Maybe not. But yeah, so this show is great. This first episode of the second season, what else happened? So, okay, now spoilers, so if you haven't watched the show, just go watch it. So get out of here. Or don't get out of here, watch it, and then go. I don't fucking know. In any case, so do we think that this is future Sid? Or do we think that this is the Shadow King leaving a bad idea?
That's the question. So in the episode, so at the cliffhanger of last season was that David Haller, the main character, was kind of kidnapped, sort of. And while he was kidnapped in this weird sphere thing, seemingly a future version of his girlfriend, Sid, comes and can't speak to him, but she communicates to him by drawing in the air that he needs to help. The contrary to what everyone else thinks, he needs to help the villain, the Shadow King, find his body, which everyone else says will give him ultimate power or whatever. But his future girlfriend is telling him, you actually need to help him find his body. I know because I'm from the future. And the question is because it seems kind of sketchy. It's while he's kidnapped in this weird sphere that we don't know anything about, why that happened. The explanation potentially posed in this episode is that her from the future kidnapped him so she could relay this message. But
But why keep him for a year?
Why keep him for a year? Why not just come back and tell him? Why absorb him into a weird sphere? Why can't she speak?
Maybe she... maybe the sphere is like a place, like a projection of the astral plane in a way, and she can only like get back to the past using the astral plane.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's some sort of technology that like she can't actually project herself back. She can only project herself back in this device, which is why it absorbed him into it. And then, I just time travel weirdness. Maybe it was a mistake that he ended up a year in the future. But also, I don't know. It all does seem fairly suspect. They did imply fairly heavily in the episode that it was a delusion. They had lots of imagery around the idea. They had like this idea of like ideas are chicks that hatch from eggs, and delusions are these like horrible, inky, like zombie chicks.
That was such a fucking crazy animation.
Good. And like they showed just before revealing that sequence, they showed a weird, inky zombie chick crawling under his bed. So there is the idea that this is a delusion, that it might, and we have kind of confirmed that the Shadow King does still have a grip in his mind. They seemingly survived his dance battle, psychic battle with them, and are still in the nightclub in his head. So. Mm-hmm.
Also, I didn't notice this, but apparently, Future Sid, quote unquote, didn't have an arm.
Yes,
she only had one arm.
She had an amputated arm.
So, and the chick had only one wing.
Oh, is that right? Interesting.
But who knows? I mean, I don't know. It could be a fake out.
Yeah, it could.
Because that animation
it could be a red herring. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, just so everyone knows, it's a chick like a
chicken,
like
a baby chicken. A baby chicken. Yeah.
A baby cock, mind you.
Yep, that's it. A black cock.
Okay. That's it. Lady Black Cock.
Let's move on.
Am I wrong? Okay. In any case, so great. I'm so happy that this is here and I get to watch it live now. I want every episode to be that long because that was like
that episode was an hour 20 minutes or something like that. With commercials. I had to watch it with commercials. I don't know how long it would have been without, but. Yeah, it was a substantial chunk of story. I would love if they did more episodes at that length.
Yeah. Oh gosh. But in any case, we can move on. So I guess the basket guy is not a existing character.
I tried looking him up. At least not as far as I could tell under Admiral Fukuyama, or is he an admiral? Is that what he was?
I don't know.
Anyway, I don't know. Maybe he has. Like, because a lot of times these kind of shows just remove their weird superhero name but use the concept. So I don't know. As far as I know, he's not. But I'll look into it later. It could also be an existing character who's disguising himself as the head of this organization. There's definitely some sort of reveal coming with the man who literally won't show his face because he has a large wicker basket on his head. Yeah. That's a shoe that is waiting to be dropped, or a basket.
Or, hey, look at you. In any case, we're going to move on into news. First off, going into movie news, this week? I'm pretty sure it was. The Russo brothers released a letter, as I'm sure everyone has read, or maybe not, who knows, that was urging people to not spoil the movie Infinity War to anyone in the first months of viewing. Awesome.
Yeah, I left this on here because it's just fascinating that this is the world we live in now. You know, like that. Like you have to be so spoiler conscious if you don't want to be spoiled by something. That the directors of stuff have to come out and be like, people, don't spoil this for other people. I mean, it's just like the internet and social media has made that stuff so prevalent and easy to come across and to spread. Yeah. That like if you really want people to come in your movie fresh, like they gotta kind of like make it kind of part of the experience to be like, hey, please don't spoil the movie for people. These are the directors, by the way, Joe and Anthony Russo.
Oh, yeah. And they also said in the letter that only a handful of people know the true plot.
Yeah, that's fascinating.
Which is crazy.
That's like, that's one of those things that, like, I don't remember if it's like J.J. Abrams, I think, does this on some of his movies, where, like, not everyone gets the full script. I think he did that with Force Awakens, is that, like, people only get like the parts that they're in, and they don't know the full plot. And apparently they're only showing select clips to people in advanced screenings before the actual Hollywood premiere. And
Hey, I mean, what do you think as a director? Like, on one hand, from an actor's standpoint, it's really, really good, because if an actor is in one part of the world, they shouldn't have any idea of what is going on in the other parts of the world, and this does seem to be spanning across the globe. Like, I saw an explanation from someone that sounds like a good idea. Like, Captain America shouldn't necessarily know everything that's going on in New York, because he's, like, not there. So, like, not knowing anything that's going on might be good for his character performance. On the other hand, if they like don't know how certain things fit with each other,
that's the
then
other
it
side.
might also be problematic. Yeah.
There's an argument to be made either way. I was going to come back with that counterpoint there. So yeah, there's an argument to be made for either direction. I don't think that like there's necessarily a better way to do it or not. But I don't think that it's necessarily hurting the movie, and I'm always like...
It's gonna be hard to hurt that movie.
But I'm always just like again, like I don't think this is necessarily like they're doing like something that is better than other directors or something, but like, I don't know, there's something that I respect about like this new wave of directors in this age of spoilers and stuff that like J.J. Abrams, like these guys now, and some other directors, like where they take it to heart that they want people to be able to come into their movie as fresh as possible, like people used to be able to, without getting spoiled, because that is part of the experience, and that's why I stopped watching trailers like after the first one, pretty much exclusively now. It's I feel like it's important to the experience.
It is. It definitely is. Also, I also heard that apparently Benedict Cumberbatch is one of the only actors to know everything going on in the script.
That seems odd, but maybe there's a plot reason why he would need to know stuff. I mean,
Doctor Strange, isn't he a character that sometimes like is actually controlling everything, but not everybody else knows the full picture? Doesn't he like a lot of times know like a lot that's going on?
He's definitely oftentimes the exposition character in that, like, as this weird like doorway into like the wider mystical universe of the Marvel universe. Like he a lot of times is the character to come in and like be like, I know what's going on because I'm the expert here, on all this nonsense that's happening. So it would make sense that he would be a character who knows more. He generally is a character who kind of comes into a scene with more knowledge than anyone else, just because he's kind of, I don't know, been doing this for a while and is kind of takes it to like upon himself to be the expert in that world. Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah. Excited as always. I also saw I didn't watch it because it was made off of the new trailer for Infinity War, but I saw someone made a version of that trailer where they replaced everybody with Deadpool. I really want to watch it, but I can't.
Wait, like they just replaced everyone's head with Deadpool, or like
everyone has the costume of Deadpool and they look like it, and they have someone imitating like the Deadpool voice or whatever.
That's pretty good.
For some. Oh, it's great. I gotta save it so I can watch it after I see the movie.
Yeah.
22 days.
God, that's so soon.
That's it. I know. In any case, going on into TV news, Doug, you found this is cool, except I'm just interested to see how it's going to work on TV. Right. FX apparently ordered a Y, The Last Man pilot to start a TV series. Did you hear anything else? I read the thing, but I didn't do you know anything else about it?
So Y, The Last Man has been in kind of development hell for, oh God, like since that book came out. They've been,
when did it come out?
I'll look that up while I'm talking, but okay. Y, The Last Man as a movie, as a TV show, as whatever in live action has been in development for so long, and there was a really long time where there was some sketchy sounding creative team / actors attached. The director of Eagle Eye was going to direct with Shia LaBeouf starring. for a while, a movie adaptation. I'm glad that it finally ended up, now that we're getting an actual, like, this is the first time that something concrete has happened in that, like, a network picked it up and said, we're going to produce a pilot. But apparently this series ended in 2008. God, this went on for a while. Yeah, it was 2002 was the first issue. So,
oh dear God,
it's about 6 years.
I guess 60 issues. Yeah. Wow.
But so it's being written, at least, or showran. It's being showran by the writer of both American Gods, which is a great adaptation of a book by Neil Gaiman that came out in the last year.
To watch that.
It's so fun.
Should I read it or watch it?
I have not read, so I can't really speak to which you should read or watch. I just know I watched
I'll read it.
I watched the show, and it's great.
Okay.
But
cool.
also, so it's showrun by the guy who wrote that series, and also he also wrote Blade Runner 2049, which is that's a fucking great movie. So
yeah,
I think that,
interesting.
I don't know anything about this dude's ability to run a show, but
I wanted to ask about that
it's
too.
also
What
written
does that
by
mean?
this guy, Michael Green.
What does that mean? Do you know what that means? Like a showrunner, like creator or whatever, created by, that's the showrunner, right?
It's a little, it's hard to compare to like movies or something, because there isn't really, like, I guess like an executive producer would be the closest thing in a movie, but also like movies have producers. It's a role that is like, so there are directors of episodes, and then there's like the show as a whole has a director, and that's the showrunner.
Yeah.
So they don't specifically.
It's like Kevin Feige.
Yes, kind of. Like there's probably a little bit more creative freedom in the directors the movies have than like a director of an episode of a TV show has. Like a showrunner has a more analogous power to a director of a movie, I think, than the actual director of the episode does. But the director of the episode also does have significant creative power as well. But
yeah,
they're both kind of a similar creative power level, but the showrunner specifically for the overarching, like, I am overseeing the direction of this whole series, like keeping it consistent and setting the tone and stuff.
So I'm interested in this FX thing because, I mean, there's not a lot of, I mean, there's language, I guess, but FX has done language. There's a lot of nudity in Y: The Last Man, though.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if other FX shows have really done much.
There is butt. Dan Stevens did do butt last in this episode of whatever. Sorry, spoiler first.
Oh, that's right. I'm curious if they blurred that on Real TV, because I watched it on through the app.
I watched it on cable. It's there.
Oh, it was there. All right.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess yeah. It's cable, so they can
boobs is a whole different thing,
do
though.
whatever. I mean, technically, paid cable can do whatever they want.
Yeah,
they only
advertising.
Yeah, they only don't because of the advertising. Yeah. But
I don't know, man. I'm excited.
Very excited.
It would never work as a movie. This shit, like, seriously,
no.
Why would they ever?
It would get too condensed. This should be, like I was saying earlier today, like, this should be either, but like, see, a single season miniseries, even that seems like a little too short to me. Like,
yeah,
I feel like this is like a 2 or 3 season, 8 episode a season show.
Easily.
You know?
It has enough material, at least. Yeah, definitely. I mean,
a shorter season length, but multiple seasons.
Yeah. But also, you have to remember, like, I mean, you haven't read this in a little bit, but there are a lot of subplots that they can mix on easily. If they were
to beat for beat recreate Y: The Last Man, yes, it would be like 6 seasons or something like that. But yeah. I don't think that that's the best way to adapt something. Yeah. I don't know.
Okay. But yeah, I'm excited. That should be, we'll definitely keep an eye on that. I'm pumped. Okay. Comics news. This is kind of a joke. So DC did a April Fool's Day joke. I don't really know that much about the April Fool's Day joke. I just saw this and thought it was funny. And Doug was talking about getting trunks, on our favorite heroes. So, Doug, let's hear what you experienced about this.
DC put up an April Fool's Day joke where everyone was all excited about Superman getting his red trunks back, and so then they put up a thing where it says, "We've got your trunks." Everyone, and they put out like a press release, basically saying that every DC hero is getting trunks. Not just Batman, although Batman has trunks in this image that they put out, but also Wonder Woman is wearing some underwear on the outside, and Hal Jordan, Green Lantern, has like white trunks on the outside of his costume, and the Flash has yellow ones. Aquaman, very humorously, has like orange fish scale trunks.
Oh.
It's very funny.
It's great. Oh, I see Cyborg here too. Forgot about that.
Yeah, he's got little
Cyborg is
red
ridiculous. Because that doesn't even make any sense.
He's wearing he's all robot, and then he's got these little red shorts on the outside. It's dumb. It's not real news, but very funny.
Okay. But in any case, yeah, not real. But we are gonna deliver on a promise here, Doug. You ready?
Oh, should I do like I'm gonna do like a drum roll.
Oh, here we go. We have games news. Da-da-da-da-da-da. We are talking about video games. Okay. So in games news today.
Wow.
Yeah, I know, right? We have some new little releases for Spider-Man on PS4, which is coming out on September 7th. Oh my gosh, I have to get a PS4 by then, don't I?
Yeah, that was the big announcement, was that it's coming out on September 7th. Which
okay. What else do you have in your head then? Because you didn't write everything down, right? You have other stuff that they talked about.
I mean, they put out a few gameplay videos. One of which was kind of talking about like their goals for or the importance of like the swinging, the open world traversal in the game. It just looks super super fun. They're talking about how that's a priority, is making that swinging great, because that was like, whenever people talk about Spider-Man games, like that's the foremost thing that you always want. Like, hey, did you ever play Spider-Man 2, the video game?
No, I didn't, but I heard that's the best movie licensed game ever to be released.
It pretty much is. It's the best movie adaptation game that probably ever, and it's just super super fun, and it's pretty much mostly about just how good the swinging felt in that. Like, it was, you use the triggers and you would swing through the city, and there was really not really traversal in any other game that was like that, and it felt like you were Spider-Man, and it was super fun. I don't know how well it's aged.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they released a video just talking about how that kind of looks and feels, and how much they're looking at that. And then also they released that Mary Jane at some point in the story is going to be playable. They've been kind of teasing that there might be multiple playable characters. I mean, you're not going to play through the whole game as Mary Jane, or probably even a large chunk of it, but there, like a lot of modern games do, like it'll jump you into someone else for a sequence or something.
Well, this plays Glennom.
Mary Jane. Glennom.
Or Spider-Gwen.
Glennom, Spider-Gwen is one thing, but Glennom sounds like someone has a lisp.
Oh, but with
my
G's
favorite
and
character
V's?
is Glennom. I don't know what word they're trying to say. I guess Glennom, but it sounds like the person has a lisp.
Glennom sounds like a great character. Like, if there's this boring guy that works an office job named Glenn, and he like gets a symbiote on him, it's Glennom. He'll staple your faxes, Cindy.
He's still just doing office work.
Yeah. That's Glennom.
He gets the symbiote, and then he just is really good at office work. He's just putting that gross black goo on as the staples, just sticking the paper together.
That makes sense. Well, we don't want to know what that actually is, I guess. In any case, what is it? Doug, I'm gonna not follow your rules. So, just really quickly, this Wolverine: The Long Night podcast has been being released, everybody, since March 12th. on Stitcher Premium. And my scheme, because you can get a free month on Stitcher Premium with the code Marvel, and they're not paying us, don't worry. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on like around April 20th or April 16th or so that I can do my free month and I can listen to all the episodes that released since then, and then that will be timed so that your free month will coincide with the last 4 episodes, and you'll be able to listen to the whole thing for free right now.
Yeah, if you wait long enough, and use the free month, you can definitely listen to the whole thing. That sounds fun. Yeah. I would be interested. I am very curious about that show. I have not heard anything about it. But also, it's a weird podcast narrative comics thing, so I don't know who's listening. I'm not saying it's not good. I'm just saying the audience for it is...
It's a murder mystery, though.
Yeah, it sounds fascinating. I'm very curious to listen to it. I'll at least give it a try.
Yeah.
I'll probably forget about the free trial and end up paying for Stitcher on accident for multiple months.
Don't do it.
That's what always happens.
Okay. Well, in any case, we have some current comics that we're going to talk about.
All right.
Yeah. Doug, I've been eating up the runtime this time. Why don't you let's talk about our 2-person pull list. Our, what is it? Our both pull list. What do we...
both pull list.
Sorry.
We both read this week Avengers number 687, Justice League number 42, Marvel 2-in-1 number 5. You had a book all on your own this week.
Yes, I've gotten Black Bolt over the past couple, over the past weeks, and I've caught up finally. I read 10, 11, 12 just today, in fact. Which now I feel dumb because it's sad that that's over now, which is stupid because it's really good. But yeah, I read Black Bolt number 12.
Cool. Did we talk about the first trade of Black Bolt on the show when we both read it? Not
really, because you went to Ireland and we had to do that weird Future Vision episode, and yeah.
Anyway, at some point recently we both read the first trade of Black Bolt, and then Jack's been trying to catch up, and I have a lot of other comics, and I just, for whatever reason, haven't gotten
really should read it.
I really should. When they come out with
artist as Mr. Miracle.
I don't think so.
Because it's Ward, right?
Mr. Miracle is Mitch Gerrits.
Oh. Never mind. I lied. It looks kind of similar, but not really. Never mind, not really.
Okay. So then I also read Batman number 44, Dr. Star, and the Kingdom of Lost Tomorrows number 2. I love that title so much. And Superman number 44. So, yeah.
Okay, cool. Or I'll do my cover of the week first. My cover of the week is Avengers, because it's really cool looking. It's all the Avengers, okay, so this whole time in Avengers, spoilers for Avengers or whatever, well, I guess not really, not spoilers for this issue. Okay, this character named Voyager has been posing as a member of the original Avengers, and it's been a ruse, and it's kind of been broken. So I guess spoilers, yes, for Avengers. Sorry. So it's been broken. And so thus this cover is all the Avengers breaking out of her head. And I like it because it just looks kind of fun. And I like the image of them breaking out, and it has to do with what's going on in the story. And I don't know, she has milky eyes, and I don't know.
Yeah, it's a cool, surreal, like literal interpretation of this very surreal idea, and it's like it's thematically relevant without like spoiling what's in the comic,
Yeah,
and
of course.
It's just a really well rendered, like well executed version of this idea that she's fracturing almost like an egg, and they're shattering through her face.
Yeah, I really like it when covers like are picturing the theme of the story without including any real images from the story. You know what I mean? Like, I like it when it's like like you said, like it is painted too, but it's like a painting that alludes to what's going on, kind of thing. I don't know. Is that way to word that? I don't know.
No, yeah. I mean, comic covers tend to especially in superhero comics, like especially, be very literal in their depiction of like, here's what's in the comic. It's this character fighting this character is pretty much usually what's happening, or just the character in the book in a dramatic situation. And so whenever, like, this is still like an action pose of a bunch of the characters in the book, but like, it's done in a non-straightforward way that's got a little bit more going on to it conceptually than just, here's a bunch of Avengers jumping to page right, you know? Mm-hmm. There's a little bit more thematically relevant in that, and it's always fun and just different, unique when a cover is able to get a little less literal with its illustration.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, Doug, what's up with yours? I have your image up here.
Yes, I linked you to the cover for my cover pick from this week, which is, and I don't remember, did I make Dr. Star and the Kingdom of Lost Tomorrows #1 my cover of the week?
No, I don't remember ever hearing. I didn't even know it started yet.
You know what I think happened is I think that for issue came out the week I was in Ireland, so we didn't actually like talk about the comics in detail. Okay. We just like talked about what we were liking in series as like in general that were pre-existing or stuff we were excited about. So I didn't get to talk about that. That definitely would have been my cover of the week because that cover is amazing. This one's very good as well. Not as good as that first cover, but pretty great. I just really like, mostly I just like, it's similar to that other cover in that like, it is, yes, it's an action pose of the character, but he's not just like, this character of Dr. Star, is not just like in a fight with something, he's in a fight with something over his son who's dying of cancer in a hospital, and there's a giant monster, like dragon monster coming down to eat him, and he's defending his son dying of cancer from that monster. And it's kind of a weird synthesis of a few different kind of moments and ideas in the comic, but not, that makes it a little bit more of a metaphor for what's happening here. Yeah. Without being, again, a literal, like, this didn't happen in the comic. He didn't fight a monster over his dying son. But he did fight this monster at some point, and his son is dying, and he went to see him.
Jeez.
So it's and just I assume these sometimes colorists on covers are a little bit hard to know, but I assume this cover was colored by Dave Stewart. He does the interior colors. He's a big colorist at Dark Horse. Okay. He does all the Hellboy stuff with Mike Mignola, and he's just really great at coloring things gray.
Like, yeah, that's what I noticed. He is.
You want a book that like looks like retro and old, but still has this weird amount of like life and energy to it. You go to Dave Stewart because he will make gray look and brown look better than literally anyone else. Wow. It's really, really good.
That's crazy. Yeah. I gotta do this. How much Black Hammer is there? Do you know how many issues there are?
I will look that up. There was
new, isn't it?
It was in the last couple years. There was a first volume of some kind. I don't know if it's a trade or two, but they're starting a second volume of Black Hammer. They're relaunching. There were 13 issues of Black Hammer of the first series, which they're relaunching now. And then there is this series, which is on #2, and there was a spin-off book called Sherlock Frankenstein and the Legion of Evil, which was, I believe, a 3 or 4 issue mini.
Okay.
Which is done. Neither of these are necessarily, like, required reading for Black Hammer, but, like, if you were reading Black Hammer, like, you would be wanting more Black Hammer, because it's just a really, really well-made superhero universe, and it's its own thing. Like, it's its own completely new superhero universe, and they're just introducing characters left and right, and it's the most promising new superhero, like, universe I've seen in a long time. It's just great. And
and it's good it's coming out of Dark Horse because they don't have a lot of other things that are like really large universes, right? Other than Hellboy.
They tend not to, like, Hellboy is their one like shared universe thing. They do a lot of Hellboy spin-offs.
Yeah.
But they tend other than that, they tend not to do lots of like shared universe stuff. So yeah, they're really leaning into this Black Hammer stuff that they just announced another Black Hammer spin-off that's taking place in the future that's coming out in a few months, this year sometime.
Okay.
But which I will definitely be picking up because this series and all the spin-offs have not let me down yet. They're all great. This one's set half in the present and half in like the 50s about this character in the Golden Age. It's great.
I'm excited. I'll pick up Black Hammer at some point soon. I'll really try to do it because I would like to get that. Do you know if they have I wonder if I can find a full book with all 13 issues in it.
Probably not at the moment.
Yeah.
There's probably 2 trades there. There's a trade for 1 through 6, and there's a trade for 7 through 11 and 13. Why wouldn't it have 12?
Is 12?
Oh, 12 is technically part of Sherlock Frankenstein and Legion of Evil. It was like a weird
crossover.
It wasn't even a crossover. It was like they kind of stealth launched Sherlock Frankenstein and Legion of Evil in between arcs in Black Hammer. They just had like a one-off issue that was like, hey, we're doing another series in a bit. Here's kind of the first chapter of it.
Yeah.
It also sort of functions as a flashback in the series, so it didn't feel wrong or anything. But that's weird that they're not I guess they're probably including it in the Sherlock Frankenstein book.
They must be. If Sherlock Frankenstein has only 4 issues, they have room to do it if they usually do 6 issues, right?
They probably did that as a value add. They probably included it in there so they'd have 5 issues in the trade. Interesting.
Okay, cool. I'll do that soon. But yeah, I really like this. Looks really, really cool. The art in general, and I'll have to look out for Dave Stewart.
Yeah, this is the Max Fiumara. This cover artist is the internal artist on the book, and it's all that kind of line work, and that's really cool.
Cool. Very cool. Okay, well, we'll do our spoiler warning. Haven't done that in a little bit. And we'll go over our picks. Doug's pick is his nose. In any case.
You got me.
I know. I'm gonna go first, because fuck you, Doug.
Jesus, got confrontational.
I know. In any case, my pick is Justice League, or Just Us League, which, by the way, this is my runner-up for cover of the week, because I really like this cover, but thematically, I don't really get it.
It's sensationalist superhero covers. Like, are you talking about, did you get the normal cover, this Who Shot Wonder Woman one?
Oh, I'm sorry, no, it's a variant cover.
Oh, what is the variant cover?
Some lady in a white hood with white, holding like a cat's cradle, the lasso of truth, and Wonder Woman is tied up in it.
Oh.
Very painted. I think you would love this cover, actually.
I'm trying to find it.
Anyways, it looks really cool.
I can't find an image of it, but...
Oh, damn. Here, I'll try and find it while you do it. Here, I'm gonna look for it.
Oh, wait, I've got it.
Oh, you got it?
Yeah, she's kind of got her in like a cat's cradle.
Yeah.
Sort of. Yeah.
Do you know who that character is?
I'm not sure who that's supposed to be. Is that her? Oh, they go to Raven at some point in this book, don't they?
That's supposed to be Raven? I think it is, yeah.
I think it might be Raven. Because she has like weird red gems like that. She's not white. She's not all white like that. But
yeah.
But her cape is kind of purple here. I think it's supposed to be Raven because she's got a hood like that.
Okay. In any case, I think it looks really cool.
Yeah.
Right? You like these painted ones?
What now?
You like these painted things, right? That's up your alley.
I've said it multiple times before, but I am a sucker for painted covers when they're done well, and this is definitely done well.
In any case, I wanted to go over this issue because
this is J.G. Jones. Yeah, of course it's great. J.G. Jones is a prominent cover artist at DC, and all his covers are great. He did all the covers for 52, which I finished relatively recently, and all those covers are great. Anyway, sorry, continue.
No, I wanted to pick this because I and I wrote this down, I'm going to say it word for word. On one hand, this story inspires some much needed, complicated discussion, and I think it's really good. On the other hand, I don't know if the story is all that gripping anymore. It's just, I feel like it's saying a lot of cool commentary on what the Justice League does, but I think when you think about the plot and how it's working with itself, like, I just don't think it's that great. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I see. I know what you mean. Like, I too am having mixed feelings about this because I do think there's some fascinating ideas in this series. I think Christopher Priest is playing with some really cool, interesting kind of thoughts about the Justice League and their existence in the world and what that means and how they should operate. And also some at the same time some stuff about kind of toxic fan culture.
Yeah, that wasn't as highlighted anymore.
Yeah,
you know?
I'm starting to wonder why those two parts of the story are the same story.
They seem very unrelated. And
I feel like... Yeah.
Go ahead.
The parts of the story that are all in on that, on the fan culture stuff are great. It doesn't seem to have anything to do with this, like, global politics stuff. And then when they do issues like this that are pretty much all about the global politics stuff, like, I don't even know, did the fan, the villain of this series, this arc, he does say a line here. I see a couple dialogue bubbles from him, but like, he's not, we've shifted focus almost entirely to this Red Lion character as the antagonist, and I feel like it's kind of lost a lot of focus.
Yeah, like it doesn't really compute how they relate to each other. I mean, I guess like the reason the Watchtower, they're having this problem is because of him, like the Watchtower fell, but it's just it's a focus thing. Like it's like. I don't understand how he... I don't know how to put it, actually. I really don't.
It feels like these are two different arcs that are starting and ending halfway into the other.
Yes.
You know? Like, it was like just when we were starting to really get going with the fan stuff a few issues ago, then all of a sudden, like, the Watchtower crashed in the last... end of 2 issues ago, but then the last issue was all in on the politics stuff in a way that like super felt like it was like just losing what the arc was. I don't think that either of them is necessarily bad. Like, I think each of them is pretty interesting and has some interesting ideas, but yeah, it feels super disjointed, and I don't know why they're happening at the same time.
Yeah. Also, do you like the fan's costume? It's just so great.
It's so stupid. He's wearing a costume that's basically like an amalgam of bits of all of the different Justice League members' costumes, and it's super ugly and stupid, and I kind of like it for that. Because like he's supposed to be this douchey fan, and so yeah, of course his costume is literally, he has this a version of the Superman emblem and Batman's cowl and the Flash's little wingtips and everything.
Oh yeah, I see that. Oh, it's good. But in any case, I wanted to pick this because I think it has some interesting moments. I wanted to ask you about the Deathstroke moment too.
Yeah, when
Deathstroke solves their problem.
So basically, this arc, they've this fan character who you kind of took down the Watchtower from the inside. He hacked them. They've been debating what to do about him, and he keeps saying, he said like 10 times, like, I'm a problem you can't solve, or something like that. And then, so they're arguing about what to do about him, because they have him in custody at near the end of this. And Deathstroke just appears in like, he's kind of been sort of popping up in this issue, in the last issue.
Well, apparently Red Lion and him are like living together.
Yeah, Red Lion and him are connected somehow. They're in some sort of partnership or agreement or something. Anyways, so he just shows up at the end of this issue and just shoots the fan in, like, the head.
Yeah.
Like, they're all arguing about what to do in almost this very comedic way where they, all of us...
It's incredibly... Yeah.
It's definitely meant as a weird, shocking comedic beat where they're all arguing, like, they can't decide what to do with him, and then off panel you just hear a blam, and then they turn, and he's like, I'm sorry, did I interrupt your sewing circle? And holsters his gun, and the man has got a bullet wound in his head, and he's shot. Like, what am I supposed to, I think I said this earlier when we read this, but, like, off mic, but, like, I think it'll take the next issue to kind of really get a good idea of exactly what I'm supposed to get from that, but I don't know if I can get behind a story that's like, hey, the Justice League is bad for not murdering people.
I don't think that's entirely what he's trying to say.
No, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like we'll get a better idea in the next issue of what the actual take is. But, like, because it can't just be that. Like, if there's some gray there, sure. Like, that, yes, this, in its own weird, fucked up way, was effective. It solved the problem. Mm-hmm. But, like, there has to be more to it than just that. Than just, like, he solved it. Good job. You know? Because that's what it feels like at the end of this, because it's just so abrupt.
Mm-hmm. Because also, are there now other fans like that one lady?
Yeah, they did that. That is going to come back because they did not even imply. They revealed at one point that, like, it wasn't just this one dude. Like, this is an organization, and this is somehow going to come back to bite them. Yeah.
I don't know. I wanted to talk about this. I also wanted to use this opportunity to ask: did you read this the new Challengers preview at the back of it?
I'm avoiding. I've not been reading any of these previews of the series that I'm actually excited for from this new Age of DC Hero stuff. Most of that stuff seems bad, but, like, I didn't read the preview for Terrifics because I was excited for Terrifics, and I haven't read the preview for Immortal Men because I know I'm going to read that, and I glanced at the artwork in this, but I tried not to get anything spoiled for me.
Right. I read it. I'm really excited. I really want to read this. It's great.
Yeah, I'm excited for a Scott Snyder thing that is completely disconnected from, like, the big superheroic stuff that he's been doing lately. I think that could be a good thing for him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. But that's about all I got.
Yeah. My book that I wanted to talk about this week is a book that continues to be great, and we just found out is going to dovetail into a new Fantastic Four book. Oh, yeah. But we've got Marvel 2-in-1, number 5, by Chip Zdarsky, art by Valerio Schiti. Schiti?
But the art is not Schiti.
No, I've been slowly, like, it was a little bit startling in that third issue or whenever that was when we switched over when it changed. But it's really grown on me. Like, I really like this art, and I keep forgetting that this is going to be the artist on Dan Slott's new Iron Man book, and I think that could potentially be a really good fit.
One of my favorite panels from this one. Also, I didn't include in my panel of the week, but when they draw Mr. Fantastic, and he's, like, all stretchy and, like, crazy, and he says, like, don't understand. It's, like, on the fourth page or something. I think it's really cool when they draw Mr. Fantastic without, like, it's not just his arms and legs getting stretchy or his body. It's, like, going all over the place and going crazy. Like, I don't know. There's something about that image that's really, really cool.
Are you talking about the one where he says, don't understand?
Yes.
That panel is so bizarre looking because, like, usually when Mr. Fantastic, like, stretches all over, like, gets really big or whatever, like, all his stuff gets deformed because he's stretching, but, like, everything but his face gets really long and stretchy, and his face just gets really big, but it still looks like a realistic human face. And so it's super bizarre looking, but it's really effective at, like, keeping the emotional beat serious and also adding this weird surreal horror to it. It's a great panel. I also really like the previous 2 pages before that. Almost made it my panel of the week. The Thing slaps Reed into a clear pane of glass, and his face like squishes like putty, and it's just really, it's very funny looking. Also gross. Anyway, I want to talk about this book just because I don't even know that I have a specific point. I guess I just wanted to talk about, like, this is a multiverse hopping book, theoretically, and we're in kind of the first, they're going through the multiverse looking for the other members of the Fantastic Four, the Thing and Human Torch. And I just really like this first alternate universe that they're in. There's a lot of, like, it's a really real feeling, like, it feels really fleshed out, weirdly, for, like, having spent 2 issues in it. Like, and it's really unique, and there's a lot of cool ideas going on here. Like, every superhero in this universe seems to be working for S.H.I.E.L.D. They're all the uniforms are just slightly a little bit more uniformy, and they've all got a S.H.I.E.L.D. patch on them. What else? Like, the idea that, like, Dr. Doom, in this last bit of heroism, kind of became Galactus, and he made all his Silver Surfers. Do you know about Doombots?
No.
So a recurring thing for Dr. Doom is that he has robot servants called Doombots, and they just look like Dr. Doom. So he has basically made a bunch of Doombots Silver Surfers in this issue. Or at least I think that's the reference. I don't think that you needed to know about that bit of lore to like get that he made a bunch of Silver Surfers that look like him, but they're basically, they seem to be robots here. But so he's made a bunch of Silver Surfers that are Doombots. They look like Dr. Doom, and they're all chromey and on surfboards flying around. And then they go to get the Silver Surfer, which, good thing that you just learned who Norrin Rad was.
Seriously.
They go to find Norrin Rad, the Silver Surfer, out of his Silver Surfer form, I assume hiding out from Galactus.
With Emma Frost, who I know from First Class.
Which is kind of a fun pairing. I don't know that there's necessarily much, like, emotionally, like, in terms of, like, oh, they make sense as a couple, but, like, it's kind of fun that, like, they turn into weird metal people. You know?
Yeah.
So that's kind of fun. But, they're kind of a couple in this, hiding out on a farm.
One thing I don't like, because they, at the beginning of the issue, they're like, oh, you didn't tell him about Johnny? And then they never tell him about Johnny, so we still don't know about their Johnny in this universe.
Because they've been kind of leading us to believe that he did something bad, that, like, everyone hated him. But then in this issue, they drop a line about, oh, God, I don't know... I don't know if I can find it again, but they imply that he did something, like, really selfless. So, like, I think he sacrificed himself somehow. The Johnny of this world, and so they're. I think that drawing out of that reveal is very purposeful, and I like the way in which they're playing with what they're implying and what the expectations are, and we'll probably get that reveal next issue. I can't imagine that this plot arc in this universe is going to go longer than one more issue. If it does, that's too long. I'm actually surprised that we didn't wrap it up this issue, but I would definitely take one more issue of this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it's great. I'm such a big fan, and so I love the art, and it's a cool introduction to the Fantastic Four, because obviously I've never read anything from Fantastic Four. And, that's all I got.
And also this book continues to be, like, it's kind of a stealth actual Fantastic Four book, because it's multiverse hopping, we're getting all 4 members. And we're probably going to get all 4 members in every arc.
Multiple.
Or at least in multiple arcs, because they're going to go find the different versions of their family in every universe, probably.
Do you think they're going to be battling Dr. Doom every time?
Dr. Doom seems to be, their universe, Dr. Doom, is clearly, like, following them. And then, Doom is a recurring, like, thing in the, like, I feel like that's a reveal that is going to end up happening, is like the idea that, like, wherever the Fantastic Four are, there is a Doctor Doom in some form. Is probably going to be some sort of idea in this, is my guess. Yeah, that's all about all I got. Okay. It's a great series. Definitely recommend it.
Okay, cool. Well, Doug, let's do our panel of the week. I really quickly wanted to go over Black Bolt a little bit, just really quickly, because Black Bolt has some of my favorite art. It's really, really fucking cool, and it's like this weird, really psychedelic, but really like kind of like Legion, very psychedelic, very weird and trippy, but you can understand everything that's going on. And there's a specific moment that I wanted to relate to. I will do this without spoilers since Doug has not read it. But there's a moment in this 12th issue that is akin to the blow on Barbados in Dark Knight's Metal from last week, where they said, "Oh, that was satisfying." There's a similar blow to a foe in this issue, and it is just so goddamn satisfying, and it's so well done, and the panel that it splashes on is absolutely beautiful. There's this cacophony of colors and, like, disintegration into the cosmic space and everything, and it's beautiful, and it's satisfying because of that. And then the rest of the page is, like, it's so amazing. Like, when I turned the page, I was like, oh, this is gonna be like jumping in the water, like doing a cannonball in the water, you know what I mean? And it was glorious, and it was great. I don't know, does that analogy seem right to you, taking a jump into the water when you're turning the page into a thing you're gonna see, you know?
Yeah, sure. Like, you're talking about like a page turn reveal, like,
yeah,
and you were. So, I'm sorry, you were saying that you were, like, anticipating what the next page was going to be?
No, I just, like, there's a setup to what's going to happen, and that blow is going to happen, not the blow.
Yeah.
And then you turn the page, it's like, ugh.
Yeah, I mean, there can definitely be, like, there's a tactile feel to the visual storytelling of comic books that isn't present in something like a movie, where you're just, like, kind of chained there in a way, and like it's gonna happen, like the thing's gonna happen, and there's almost like a powerlessness to it. I'm not saying that's better or worse, it's a different kind of experience. There's ways in which you can take advantage of that, but like in a comic book, like when a page turn reveal is done really well, like it can feel like, yeah, like it's almost like a video game in that, like, you have to force it to happen, you have to advance the story by turning the page. Yes. I think, yeah, when writers take advantage of reveals like that, when they build that kind of sense of dread of turning the page, that can be something that's really, really interesting when it's well done.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, this is for anyone reading this and who read this week. This is the final blow and I think they can understand. But yeah, oh god, it's just so beautiful. There's just the colors that this guy, Christian Ward, is the artist.
Does he color himself?
I have no idea.
Do they list a colorist in the credits?
Cover artist, letterer. No, so he does color it himself.
If they don't list a colorist,
right?
That probably means he colors himself. I wouldn't be surprised. He seems very all in one, his art. Like, the colors seem very of a piece with the art he's doing. And
it's like, I feel like in the jail it was good and everything in the first arc, but when they're using, like, there's just some moments here, like the colors that he uses are just beautiful and fascinating, and just, it's so fucking, like, you gotta read this.
Yeah, I know. I'll probably get around to it whenever they release the trade for the second half of this series, and I'll probably just read it that way just at this point, since, like, it's ended now.
That makes sense. I'm so happy I jumped up, like, learning about him when we saw him in Thanos, I think it was, and then coming to this, like, I'm so happy, because it's such a different part of the Marvel universe too that I'm seeing, and and especially before the death of the Inhumans, having a little bit of a that one shot by Donny Cates that's coming out, having a little bit of a introduction to that world and everything.
Do they dig much into kind of the Inhumans in this outside of Black Bolt?
Not a lot at all, but it's enough to know kind of the status quo of their sort of living and everything like that.
Cool.
And but it's not super grounded in it. So like, even if you don't know a lot about it, which I know you don't, you don't need, it's not like, what the fuck is this,
Yeah.
So yeah. What is your, so that's Black Bolt. That's wonderful. What's your panel of the week?
Okay.
Doug?
So, I think my panel of the week, was last time Superman came out was also from Superman. First off want to say, I'm just really enjoying this Bizarro arc. It's just real fun. It's real dumb, but they are leaning into the silly fun parts of Bizarro that I've always really liked.
Your panel of the week was the Legion of Fun.
The Legion of Fun, and there's a bunch more real stupid fun Legion of Fun stuff in this. But do you remember how? Okay. So I'll get into the plot in a second. But my panel. So the first. So this first page here, we have a small panel before my panel that it looks like it's a pyramid, and there's a big arrow and it says you aren't here, because people on Bizarro World speak backwards, basically. They say the opposite of what they want to say. So, and then they zoom out in the next panel, and so Bizarro World is a cube. It's basically Earth, but it's a cube. And so the point that we were looking at is one corner of the cube on a globe. And we zoom out and we see that we're at like, it's basically we're at a tourist trap, which is one of the corners of this this cube world that is Bizarro World. And it's like a big, like, vacation destination. Like, it's a pyramid. People come here to see the corner. They call it the three corners of Hatrei, which is Earth backwards. That's their planet. And I just love that. It's real dumb, this idea that, like, it's this tourist trap where everyone comes to see the corner of their world that is a cube. It's the dumbest image.
Why 3 corners? Like,
because there are three faces of the cube are touching, but also there are like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of those. So why is this 3 corners of a tray? I don't know, but it is 3 corners. Technically, three faces are joining at this point. Whatever. It's super silly. I just love the dumb, silly surrealness that they're putting into the Bizarro planet and its people in this series, this arc, I should say.
Yeah,
that's super.
And
very fun.
So is everything on Bizarro also like lettered this way, like weirdly, like up and down and everything like that?
I'm just trying to find a dialogue bubble here. Yeah, they all kind of speak in like a warbly, kind of sketchy, kind of, their bubbles are all kind of wiggly and angular, like that a little bit, sort of, yeah.
Yeah.
And they all speak kind of weird backwards talk. They say the opposite. I do wish they were a little bit more creative in how they spoke, because they end up pretty much just putting the word not before pretty much everything, and then just saying the thing as normal.
Yeah.
Which one does make it it's probably a sacrifice they made just to make it less annoying to read.
Mm-hmm.
But also, I feel like it's just a little bit less creative than they could have gotten. You know.
Me am not angry now because they're not another one, and him not want everything that am not mine. Superman. Those are the last on this page that you linked me to.
Yeah.
These are the last 3 panels.
Yeah.
It looks really cool. Like it's
a real fun arc. You could probably I mean, there's some characters in here you would have absolutely no idea who they are, but like it's a fun little, you have to put up with a lot of backwards talk. And if that turns you off, then it might not be for you, but There's lots of fun, silly, like, reverse goofiness on this planet. They've got a character who's the anti-Joker, basically. He's the Bizarro Joker, and he's they call him, I don't know why they don't just call him the Crier, but he's the Joe Crier, J-O-Crier, but he's just a man in a blue suit who has like a haircut like the Joker, but he's the only person on this planet with actual like Caucasian human skin. Everyone else has this white skin.
Oh wow!
Because he's the opposite of the Joker, and so he's very sad.
Is he really sane or no?
He's like, I don't know. He's just sad. He's not like acting zany. He's got like water pistols, but they actually shoot water instead of like acid or whatever. You know,
this is ridiculous. Also, I love that this guy in your panel is eating ice. He's getting ice cream and he's holding it by the ice cream, and the cone is pointed up.
Also, I'm willing to bet the intention was that this man is handing it to the ice cream man.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know. I don't know that they sell that part of it necessarily. That's maybe me projecting, but
oh wow. Yeah, this is great.
They have balloons and they're all cubes. There's a balloon cart and all the balloons are cubes. Oh, it's stupid. And then so just very quickly, because this is in the issue because in the end of the last issue, the Legion of Fun turned the cube world round. And so this is actually the site of a disaster because all of the corners have a massive earthquake and implode in on themselves.
Oh my god.
And they have to save people.
This is just, oh gosh. Okay.
Anyway, yeah.
Good pick.
Great.
Okay, so what's next? Oh, let's talk about next week highlights. Next week highlights, big week. Should be fun. We got Avengers 688, which is going to be number 13. Is that 13? No, this is 13. We're on 14. Cool. Captain America 700, which is going to be the last one for Sam Nee before he leaves Marvel. Mm-hmm. Also the last of this arc for Captain America, so that's going to be Dunzo Gunzo. Well, that's not going to be done. Captain America is going to continue with Sam Nee, isn't it?
And it's continuing with Mark Waid with a new artist.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Doctor Strange, number 388. I thought this was going to be the first one that didn't tie into Damnation, but I guess it is still tying into Damnation.
It's still a Damnation tie-in? Okay.
Yeah, it looks like it at least. But
I mean, we're still not getting the next issue of Damnation yet, so I mean, I feel like it kind of has to.
I saw it's going to be on the 25th of April, which is crazy.
Huh. Interesting.
I think they took a month break between the last issue of Damnation and this one because they had a lot of tie-ins. So for Ghost Rider, for Spider,
yeah, they had a bunch of one-off tie-ins and tie-ins to other series that we aren't reading. Yeah. So that's why we're having a break. But anyway,
okay, well that should be fun nonetheless. Then we have Eternity Girl number 2, which I just put in my poll, so I'm excited for that. Gideon Falls number 2, which I also read this week. Fucking awesome! I love it. Like, okay, just a quick shout out, like horror comics in general. Like, I want to read more. So tell me one that I need to read. A definitive one. Go.
Right now, read Witches. Witches by Scott Snyder. It's with a Y. W-Y.
So Y-I-T-C-H-E-S.
No, it's W...
I-T-C-H-Y-S.
Oh, wait. Oh, shit. Wait. No, it's W-Y-T-C-H-E-S.
I know. I was making a joke those last two times.
I know, you got me confused and I had to spell it in my head just to remember
I do it all the time.
Anyways.
In any case, Gideon Falls is fucking awesome. I love horror stories. I love this so far. Super pumped. Mm-hmm. Thanos, number 18, is also coming out. That's the last issue of Thanos Wins, the last issue of Thanos. So that's sad, but
it is? excited to get that. Oh, boy. Okay.
Oh, yeah. It's the last one.
Wow, that feels... They're going to have to wrap some stuff up.
Well, all they have to... They defeated the...
I guess.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
They defeated them, and death is waiting on the planet.
Yeah, I'm just curious what they're going to do with that death. I mean, I guess I don't know what's going to happen. Anyways, very excited.
Yeah. And then we have first issues of Domino, which I also put on my poll, and I'm super excited for that, by Gail Simone. Exiles by Lemire? Is that a Lemire?
No,
is that...
Exiles is the Saladin Ahmed one, so the Black Bolt writer.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
I don't remember who's the artist on that, but it is written by Saladin Ahmed.
Okay.
Yeah, excited for that.
I'll try it out. And then The Immortal Men, which is coming out of the pages of Metal.
Yeah.
Who's the writer on that?
That's James Tynion IV with art by Jim Lee.
Scott Snyder Light.
It's a lot of new issues on an already somewhat big week, so I don't know that I'll be picking up all 3 of those. I'm probably
not going to pick up Immortal Men, but I'll pick up Domino and Exiles.
I might not pick up Domino. We'll see. I don't know. That's hard. Fine. It's tough.
I'll tell you about it. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, maybe I'll leave that to you just so that maybe I will feel less bad having someone who can at least check it out and tell me if it's worth going back to pick up.
Yeah. See if anybody got the idea, because Doug didn't get on the also female written She-Hulk. Doug just hates women writers in comics, Jesus so he's Christ. Not going to get on Domino. That's the reason why.
No. This for some reason this is something that specifically happens to me with Gail Simone books though, because I like her books. I like them a lot, but they're kind of like lighter, kind of more fun, goofy books generally, and for whatever reason that type of book always tends to be the kind that I cut for some reason. So yeah. I really want to read a book of hers again though, because I really like her. I like her Secret Six a lot.
Who's that? Is that a group of?
It's a group of DC villains who were a team at DC. There were both versions before and after New 52, and both of them are very fun. She wrote both of those runs, and it's I like that series a lot. It's got Catman.
What up, Man Cat?
Catman is a Batman ripoff character who is a villain who wears a yellow costume with a brown cape with little brown ears.
Oh,
little brown bat ears.
In the episode of Justice League where they meet the Justice Society of America, they have a Catman, but he's a good guy.
Huh.
Or Justice Guild of America.
Wait, in which one?
There's an episode of Justice League where they go into this weird pocket universe.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about? This is my favorite episode of Justice League. I love that episode.
Is his name Catman?
Yeah, his name's Catman.
Huh. There's also an episode of Fairly Odd Parents with a character played by Adam West, who is basically the actual character Catman. But I don't know that they were aware of the actual character Catman, but it's kind of his costume.
Huh. So maybe they were. And it's Adam West. No, I don't know. In any case, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Really quickly, there's a Birdman comic.
Wait.
I don't know. I saw a comic that's called Birdman that was by DC or something in my store.
I don't know. Not connected to the movie, I'm guessing?
I have no idea. I just thought it was called Birdman.
Oh, wait, are you talking about... Oh, is this Birdman as in, like, Birdman from the Hanna-Barbera stuff?
I have no idea.
Do you know the Adult Swim cartoon Harvey Birdman, Attorney at Law?
Maybe. I think I've heard of it.
Where he is voiced... Is he voiced by Stephen Colbert? Or is Stephen Colbert just a character on that show? I'm not sure. Anyways, there is an old Hanna-Barbera character named Birdman, and DC has been putting out they did kind of a weird, like, little subline of comics that is still going about Hanna-Barbera, a shared universe of all the Hanna-Barbera characters.
Weird.
So that's probably part of that.
Okay. Well, that makes more sense then. Sorry, what were we talking about?
We just finished up what's new next week, and we're gonna go on into
and Doug does not hate women. I was lying.
Okay, thank you for clarifying.
Just want to clarify because it's in any case, we have a listener question, Doug.
Mm-hmm.
You can do it since you got it.
Okay.
You got the question.
So, if you want to get your question featured on the show, you can send your questions to comicscovered@gmail.com or send us a message on Twitter or Facebook. We are at comicscovered on either of those services. But, we have our first listener question this week. This comes in from Brian in Chicago, who, asks, related to, the news about the Y the Last Man adaptation. He asks, now that we have a Y the Last Man show, will we ever get a Saga one, do you think?
No.
No? You don't think so?
there are way too many worlds, way too many universes that they have to go to, way too many different weird looking settings. It would take so much money, I feel like.
It would I feel like from a pure like production value standpoint, it would probably have to be a movie, although that's probably to the detriment of the story. Or it's definitely to the detriment of the story. But
they would have to do a story within the universe of like Saga, which would be fine if they had a series of movies that did. But I mean, yeah, it's just you can't do a TV like it's just it's so good because it has such a big universe that it introduces you so well. But one of the reasons why it introduces you so well is because it jumps to all these different things and tells you what's going on, and it would just take such a big budget or really shitty green screen to do it. I don't know.
It would be very difficult to create a TV show that would be to the visual bar that the series sets, because it's so crazy, fantastically inventive in terms of its visuals, and the ways in which it kind of reappropriates like normal, everyday, normal world things as weird fantasy sci-fi things is like kind of unmatched. And I don't know that I can see anyone really, because everyone in the universe of Saga is a weird animal person or a robot with a TV for a head, or everyone's a weird, crazy alien who's, I feel like, would be hard to execute in live action. Part of the reason this works visually is because it has a little bit of cartooniness to it. And I don't know how they'd make that work in live action. I almost feel like this would work better as like, and I don't know how this would work because there's not really anything analogous to this in terms of television, but it would work better as like an animated series. Yeah. There's not really much in the way of like adult, serious animated stuff like that. At least in American animation.
Well, yeah, obviously there's anime, but it's not with Americans just don't embrace animation like that. It's really weird. Like my girlfriend's parents, they just like dismiss, or at least her dad, they just dismiss animation. Like that's just a kids movie, isn't it?
In America, they are, but also, I mean, they are more than that, because like the good ones here are made for more than just a young audience. They're made for all ages, but like there's something to appreciate in all of them for everyone. But also we don't really have much of an industry for exclusively adult animation, especially not in I mean not really in TV or movies, but
just not dramatic specifically, because obviously we have adult animation,
we have adult
comedy,
like raunchy comedy stuff.
Yes.
Like we have your Family Guys and your South Parks and
Morty.
Archer and whatever. But like, Saga's not like straight drama. Like it's also a very funny and fun action series also, but like, it's also, I feel like it'd be hard to make this series without having a lot of, at least the feeling of a lot of the adult elements. Like, they swear a lot in this series, and there's a lot of sexual content, like, an almost absurd amount of sexual content. And...
Oh, really? I didn't even notice a lot, like, a crazy amount.
Okay, well, at some point in the series, and maybe you haven't gotten to this point yet, but they had a little bit of a controversy because they were pulled from some service. I think they were pulled from either Comixology, or they pulled from Apple somehow. Apple somehow denied their presence on Comixology, I think. Anyways, because they had a panel of okay, do you mind if I spoil a minor? This is not really a plot element.
That's fine.
Okay.
Yes.
This is just kind of a visual. It's not a plot point, but Baron or Prince Robot.
Yeah.
So at one point he displays on his face a scene with many dicks. He basically plays gay porn on his face. This character in that series has a television for a face, and it plays. He basically plays gay porn on his face, and that got them banned by Apple. I believe, I could be getting this wrong, but somehow Apple was involved. But they got taken off of Comixology or some other service like that. And then ever since that moment, which was a little bit into the series, it feels like they've just been waving their middle fingers at everyone, just being like, fuck you, we're gonna do whatever we want. And it doesn't feel like, forced necessarily, but it does feel super self-aware of that controversy and being like, fuck you, like, this is art, we're doing whatever.
Wow. Okay, I'm really glad I know that, though, because if it just started happening and I didn't know the backstory behind it, I feel like it might turn me off a little. You know what I mean? Like, if I just didn't know about that. You know, if I didn't know about that subtext.
Oh, yeah. They had this issue a while back that it was a new arc, and, like, you can't read this, just jump into this series at any point. That would be nonsense. Why would you jump into this series at any point? Yes. But they released an issue that was a new arc, and they billed it as like a new jumping on point for readers, and they sold it for like $1 or something. Like, it was like this marketing thing. And then literally, so, they're like, oh, all these new readers are going to read this comic, which is bullshit. Like, that's not no one's jumping into Saga on like the 40th issue or whatever. So you open that first issue, and again, it's minor, tiny spoilers. Tiny spoilers. Yeah. But you open the first page, and there's a bird cowboy, and he says, there's a large sign behind him, and it says "Abortion Town," and he says, "Howdy, strangers."
Oh my god. The fuck? So, it just like felt like this big like if someone jumped into this book, this cowboy bird is saying hello to the new readers in front of this giant Abortion Town sign, and it's great. I love it. That's okay. I'm so excited.
Anyway,
I haven't read anything of the 4th volume yet, so I'm excited.
I got off on a little bit of a tangent there, but
but in any case, going back to the question, I would love a Saga. I think animation would work great for it.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's going to happen.
I think animation...
Not in the near future. Maybe soon.
Yeah.
Who knows?
If it were to ever execute on, like, the visuals, I think it would kind of have to be animation. Although if they could make it work, like, seeing those visuals in live action could be super cool. I just don't know that I see that happening, at least not on television. I could see a super condensed version of the story in movie form, and I wouldn't put it past them to try to make that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I would say like maybe if it was like if they had a deal like where they were trying to build that universe and someone wanted to latch onto that universe and make like a series of movies, maybe that would work. But I just don't think the pacing is made for that. I don't think there's a lot
definitely
of
not as
big climatic events.
Yeah, but this is it is patently a saga. it is a very episodic story, you know, like it's hard to they would have to basically invent their own kind of amalgamized story for a movie that kind of just gets the broadest strokes of Alana and Marco and Hazel's story without all of the subplots, you know.
Yeah. Oh, also, we were talking about John Krasinski and Emma Blunt earlier. Their daughter's name, Hazel. One of their daughter's name. Here, Hazel.
Okay.
Isn't that cute?
A couple very short related questions, just for me. If you were to cast a live action version of Marco and Alana, who would you cast?
Oh. You know, whoever's going to play Yorick in Why the Last Man pilot would probably be a good Saga Marco.
Brian
you know what I mean, though?
Yeah, Brian K. Vaughan has a very specific leading man type, and yes, Yorick and Marco are very much of a similar feel, as are many of his other protagonists, and I like his type of protagonist. They are very kind of clearly semi-autobiographical in terms of, like, he's just writing...
Tom Holland?
What now?
Tom Holland?
What are you talking about?
Casting.
In what?
Saga?
Oh.
Marco?
isn't he too young? I feel like he's too young.
Not by the time we get this going.
I mean, yeah, maybe some future version of Tom Holland. I could see that. Marco is a little bit harder for me. I could see maybe a Zachary Levi, maybe almost. I know you haven't really seen much with him in it, but he has the kind of personality type / look. I know for Alana, I have in my head just Rashida Jones.
Rashida Jones, yeah, I can see that. I
think she has the personality for it and the look as well. Yeah,
I can feel that. Okay, now wait. Okay, I'm gonna do my last questions. I know we were going over, but last questions. Okay.
Okay.
What the fuck is X-Men in colors? Blue, red, gold, blurple. Tell me.
I don't know I'm super behind on X-Men lore, but I do know that it is kind of an on-again, off-again thing, that the X-Men books are split up into teams that are basically given... It's just they're different teams of X-Men. There's an X-Men blue book, and that is a certain team, and there's an X-Men gold book, and that's a certain team.
They just didn't want to keep calling them X-Force or X-Statics or give them actual names?
I mean, there's probably marketing reasons why you don't just give them a different name. They probably sell better. It's the reason we're getting a million Justice League spin-off books it's the reason we're getting Justice League Dark rather than some other name for this completely unrelated book to the Justice League in this big Justice League relaunch, Okay.
So they're going the Pokemon route.
Sorta, yeah. You choose your flavor of X-Men.
And then, what is Venomized, and why is there such a fascination with Venom as a concept? Is it from the 90s, because he was one of those first ultra-violent characters, so people were really into Venom, and then he just got bombarded by all this symbiote universe kind of shit?
I think it's just people really find the idea of the symbiote, and specifically the symbiote suit, fascinating. Because it's a fun thing to apply to, let's see what it looks like if the symbiote is on this character. Because I'm fairly sure I'm not reading it, but I'm fairly sure that event is all about, Venom versions of a bunch of different characters. Yeah. I've seen there's, a Venom Thanos, and there's a Venom blah, 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 But, the famous character blah, 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 who gets the symbiote suit.
Okay.
But, because the symbiote... is part of an alien race of the symbiotes. They come from a planet. And basically, the reason Venom, the character Venom, has spider powers like Spider-Man is because he originally bonded with Spider-Man and absorbed his powers. So the symbiotes, they enhance the powers of whoever they're the suit of. So it's a fun kind of thing to be and what does it look like when Captain Marvel has the symbiote on her? It's just very easy to be it's a very nerdy just throw stuff at the wall,
okay,
seeing what that looks like on every character possible. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Okay. Cool. I think that's gonna do it for the week, right?
You don't want to know about any more horror comics at all?
Well, no. Okay, we have the thing at the end. What?
You don't want to know about any more horror comics at all, or you want to wrap up?
I thought we were gonna wrap up because we're going long. I mean, you can tell me. Okay, give me other names.
We'll talk offline.
Just tell me. Okay.
Cool.
Okay. In any case, that's going to do it for the week. If you like the show, the absolute biggest thing you can do for us is give us a review or star rating, because that's fun. And if you enjoyed what you heard, let someone know about us with your mouse or with your mouth. We release
You're so proud of weekly. You're so proud of that line.
I really am. It's a good one. We release episodes weekly on Sundays, so be sure to check back in next week. Or better yet, you can subscribe to the podcast and never have to think about it. You can do that on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, Overcast, Google Play Music. So whichever podcast app you prefer, we've got you covered.
That was the most serious delivery I've heard from you of the outro script. yet.
Thank you.
In the meantime, before the next episode, you can find us on Twitter and Facebook under the handle @comicscovered. And god damn it, you pasted this back in.
Yes!
You pasted this?
Yay!
This episode was not shorter than usual. Jack likes to sneak that in on me to trip me up. Now I'm confused. Oh, you've derailed this whole thing. You can find web archives of all our episodes at comicscovered.libsyn.com. That's libsyn.com. Our YouTube channel and our Facebook page. And if you want to get a hold of us with a question or feedback, like we did with Brian earlier, send us a message on Facebook or Twitter or our email, which is, again, comicscovered@gmail.com. Also, quick plug. We teased it a little bit earlier. I'm going to be guesting on the video game podcast Mashing Buttons. That comes
such
out.
a great name. I love it.
That comes out on Mondays. So I'm going to be on this Monday's episode. I believe it comes out on Mondays. But we'll probably talk comics related games. So we did have a bit of games news, but it's always a continuous joke on here that we never have any games news to talk about in terms of comics. So
I feel like you're going to get on there and you're just going to be silent the entire time because the amount of
and
game stuff we actually
and what do you
have.
think about this, Doug? About this comic game? And I'm just going to stare at them, and it's going to be fascinating podcasting.
Yes. Exactly.
If you want to hear,
is that a verb?
Podcasting? It's a thing people say.
Okay. In any case, go on.
If you want to hear one of us at least finally talk about comics video games, be sure to check that out. And those guys are a ton of fun, so I highly recommend their show if you listen and like that episode, or just in general, if you want a comics video game podcast. That show is very fun.
Yeah.
Again, that
Mashing
show.
Buttons.
Yeah, Mashing Buttons. That show releases on Mondays, so keep an eye out. Yeah, that's this Monday's episode. Thanks again for listening. I am Doug.
And this has been Comics Covered.
All right. Bye.
Cheerio.